Hey everyone, thank you for taking the time to tune in to Forward Progress. Help this channel progress forward by clicking that subscribe button. Thank you dearly. Enjoy the show.
What's more monumental than an introduction? An epic instrumental, only right to do with justice, daily with conviction. Every time I touch it, check your assumptions before my judgment. First you must become me and roll with the punches. End up with a concussion, that's how my brain function. Enter my subconscious, empty out the contents. Ripping up the formula and wrap around the concept. Like a python, clutching like a cyclops. Psyche like a cyclone, spinning in a spiral. Stopping the cycle, silence the conditioning and seek to keep it primal. Listen, for the future to decipher, simply keep in mind for we're free to feed the fire. Essential for survival, be the change you want to see instead of standing idly with preconceived notions that trigger the anxiety inside.
So I want to first start off by saying thank you so much for taking the time. As you guys know, this podcast is built off a simple premise, which is progress is better than perfection. So as a cheat code, I love to have conversations with individuals who can help me grow and hopefully help the audience get 1% better forward progress. So thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. If you don't mind, Miss Autumn, tell us a little bit about what's your journey, with softball and what brings you here today.
Yeah. So, hey, everyone. I'm Autumn. I'm from Central Florida. Went to high school right down the road at Lake Howell.
Ooh.
Yeah, go Silverhawks. Graduated in 2013. Started playing softball when I was 8. Journey through then. Started playing softball when I was 8. Pretty much the only sport I did. And then high school, played some volleyball. But other than that, stuck to softball. Played for a state title. Got through regional final in high school. Went to junior college route first, which is becoming more popular. Played for a national title in junior college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, came in second my freshman year. That kind of sucks, but it's still a part of the journey. Then got the journey of a lifetime opportunity to play Division I. A lot of people's goals.
Wow.
Less than 1% get to do it, got to do it. Went to a small Division I school in Clarksville, Tennessee, Austin P. Go Govs. And then graduated in 2017. And thought I was done, like everyone does when they graduate. Softball's not a big sport in professional life, so you never think you're going to play again. Got the call about 4 years ago got called up, hey, we're looking for someone to come pitch. Do you know of anyone? He was like, yeah, sure. I have this girl. She's actually standing right next to me because we worked at the same facility at the time. And I jumped on the phone. They said, send me some film. 2 days later, I got my contract. 2 weeks later, I was on an airplane to fly down to Puerto Rico to play in their professional league down there.
Wow.
This is my third season playing professional down in Puerto Rico, and we won our championship last year. So,
wow, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yep.
Represent. I'm Puerto Rican myself of descent, so that's really dope to hear. Thank you for sharing a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
I honestly love having conversations with athletes because yes, they can be looked at as sometimes like gladiators of our time, and sometimes they get devalued from a person standpoint. Like they're still people.
Absolutely.
But they have to constantly challenge themselves in order to keep in their sport and also maintain that level of competitiveness, right?
Yeah.
So you're, in other words, you're like forced to be in a growth mindset,
Yeah.
right? Especially as a professional. But I really, one of my favorite questions I love asking individuals is, if we were to direct a biopic of your life thus far, what would be the premise of the movie and what genre would it be in?
I would love to do, I don't know if I would so much have like a comedy type of movie.
Yeah.
But I'm like not too much of a serious person.
Okay.
So it would probably be in like that realm. But I honestly would love like some type of reality type of like autobiography, camera in my face, live. Never like, I really don't like a lot of like production kind of stuff. Like I would just want, or a musical, one of the two.
Ooh.
I love a musical. So I honestly would love that, just to be like myself without having like a script or anything like that, because the more raw and real you can be in a situation like that, I think the better. So I honestly would just love like autobiographical, have a camera with me, follow me around, cut produce, that's how I would probably want it to go.
Versus a actor acting
Yeah,
as you.
no way.
Kinda,
I would want it to be me. There's no one who can beat me. So
I love that. I love that. What would be the premise of it? Like, what would be the, like, what message would you want the audience to take from your journey so far?
I think if you've ever seen like how hockey and football, they do like the lead up to certain events type of style. I think I would love that, like going in a year of like training for my season. So I think I would want it to be not so much of like what I've gone through as a person and an athlete, but leading up to my season, leading up to how much work you put in, especially being like my age. I play with a team of girls that are still in college. The youngest is 17.
You're 29 at the time.
And I'm 29
You're
right
29.
now. Yeah. So the youngest I play with is 17. That's a 12-year difference, and it's a lot of time.
You're the vet.
Absolutely. And so I think leading up to that, it's not just mental work, growth work, physical work. And I think I would love to show that in some type of way of how a year training for my season is, especially because I play in a different country. So I never get to be with them. So I think that's how I would want it to be, more than like what I've been through in my past. I would want to show how it goes through my future through the next season. I think that would be really, really cool.
So speaking to you off camera, I feel like it would be such a cool movie because, and tell me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the angles would be in empowerment of women in sports.
Absolutely.
Right. So you would get this, like, again, I would love you to dive into that, is how cool it would be to realize how hard you have to work.
Yeah.
Right. To not only make a name for yourself, but to show that you're more than. A lot of times you have to do more, right? So tell me a little bit about how that side of things, like how important that would be in the movie.
So like a day-to-day, just like a day-to-day for me is like wake up, eat whatever I need to eat. I usually do some sort of cardio type of style in the morning. I always have like a journaling. For me, it's like a Bible journaling session. Some people it's meditation. Some people it's whatever you get in your headspace for that morning. Then I always take my dog on a walk, and then I have to do some sort of gym session before I go and do all my softball work. Some days I'm hitting and pitching during the day. Most days I'm just hitting. Most days I'm just pitching. But for me, I think I do lessons when I'm not playing softball on a weekend. So for me is I'm always around my sport. And I think that's the coolest part for me is because I get to see these little kids come up to me and their parents and they're like, see, you still can do it. You still have somewhere to go and work towards even when you're 30. So I think like I work with little kids who are 12 and I'm like, they look up to me and they go, do you think I can get where you are? And I go, you just have to work for it. Because nothing's going to be handed to you. Nothing's going to be given to you by anybody else unless you work for it and you can truly show that you want to be there. And I think the toughest thing I have to tell my parents is, especially when it comes to playing sports in college. High school's one thing. College is, if you don't love it when you get there, you're going to hate your life. Yeah. And I hate to be that tough with parents, especially with my older girls, but I have to show them that I'm not kidding, because it's a grind when you get there, because especially the higher levels you get, because you're constantly doing something. School, weights, study hall, class, this, that. And I think people have to like take a step back and go, do I love it enough to continue to push yourself to do it? And that's what makes it tough. And that's both men and women in sport.
Absolutely.
Like all types of sport. You can't tell me that one works harder than the other when you're playing a collegiate sport, because everyone's schedules pretty much look similar, where you're in a weight room, you're doing a personal session, and then you're doing a team session. And that's all sport, any gender, all through college is like that. And I think that's why athletes are so close when you go to school and college, because you know how it feels. Like the college I went to, we had 370 athletes.
Oh, wow.
And
that's not a lot.
No.
Yeah.
And people are like, when there's 15 to 20,000 people in school.
Yeah.
And people go, that's all? Well, the school I went to, we were a small Division I. So that's how it was for me. And we had a football team. So like a quarter of that is the football team, you know? Yeah. And so I think stepping back and going, these 370 people know what you're going through. Yeah. That's where you have to look at it too, because it's not just a walk in the park. And I think that's what you would want to like see in a movie, is like how hard your day-to-day life is to get where you need to be when you play at this level.
I always say the best movies are the ones that have like that build up, right? Like you want the person to go through struggle. You want the person to have those hardships and so on and so forth. So that way you can root for them. And then when they do go over it, if they happen to go over it, you're like, you're so excited.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of that, one of my favorite sayings is, smooth seas don't make skillful sailors.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to go through hard times in
Absolutely.
order to figure it out. I love that. I think I think we should make that happen. No, but I
Give me a film crew.
yeah, let's do it. Reality TV.
TV,
actually.
exactly.
My next question would really, I'm always interested in this because we aren't anybody but who our support system are and what our community and tribe has allowed us to be. So who's been the most influential person in your life and why?
Probably my grandpa. So my grandfather, when I decided I wanted to play softball, I was 8 turning 9 and then played my first season, and he was like, for some reason I just fell in love with it. It was almost like if you find something you love, it clicks. Softball was that for me at a really young age, and he took me to every lesson. Any strength session I had to go to, because I did strength and agility stuff when I was younger. Any hitting lesson, any practice. He was right there with me, driving me, and he financially supported my dream to be able to do this, and I'm eternally grateful because I would not be where I would be without him. And he worked really hard to get to where he was. He's from a small town in Virginia, worked his way up, ended up working his whole life just... He even worked while I was playing and in school, but he pretty much did everything for me to be able to give back to what I do now. And so if I ever had to say thank you a million times over to somebody, it would be him. And he just gave me the push I needed to be better. And some days we fought about it, obviously. Even though he came with me to everything, sometimes every parent. I always tell my kids now, I'm like, they're here, they're listening to your lesson. I didn't listen to my grandfather sometimes, so I'm telling you now, if I hear that you didn't listen, we're gonna have problems. Because I know what it's like. Every kid knows what it's like. So I just forever, it will always be him because he is the reason I was able to do everything I did. Absolutely.
So I hear that he not only was he someone that could hold you accountable, but someone who kind of not laid out a blueprint of what he knew and wasn't scared to tell you, hey, this is how things should happen, and really care. Sounds like somebody who knew, you woke up and you're like, all right, he cares, right?
Yeah.
And that goes a long way. And it kind of goes with a follow-up, I would say. It's like, besides having those conversations with your grandfather, who's clearly an incredible person who embodied, some of the characteristics that you have, is how have you handled self-doubt and maintained confidence in your ability throughout your softball career during those moments when you didn't have him there?
Yeah, so I went to junior college about 2 hours away, but I went to Division I 12 hours away. So my school that I went to is about as north in Tennessee as you can get until you get to Kentucky. So I decided I knew I wanted to go to school far away, and not everyone understood why, but
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I think even though you're from, we're from a place where you're very rare to be born and raised here.
Yeah.
If you are, you're one of the few. Yeah, exactly. So when you are born and raised here, yes, you sometimes want to come back, but most of the time, I just wanted to get away for a little while. And I loved Tennessee, and I was just north of Nashville. I loved the experience to have seasons, have all that kind of jazz. But I also wanted to create my own life and not have to necessarily be in the city of Orlando to do that. So, and I was very grateful that I had the support system that let me go. You know what I'm saying? They let me flourish. They let me fly. But I think when you go to school that far, self-doubt's going to happen. You're going to a school that has all of the mechanisms to scare you. So, you go in and you're like, okay, you have this, and this. I feel like you automatically self-doubt because you're like, am I good enough to even be here right now? You know what I'm saying? So, and I think when you talk about self-doubt, you can talk about, not only mentally but physically. I had men coaches, and we're gonna get I'm just gonna go a direction for a second.
Go for it.
When we talk about women in sport, one of the main things you have to really, really look at is the mental side when it comes to body image and when it comes to that type of thing. So for me, my self-doubt and confidence came more on that end. So not in my ability to play softball, because I knew I put the work in and I constantly did that. But when you have coaches telling me that even though I have this body fat percentage at one point, I still have to be under a certain weight. And I think when you have male coaches telling you that, it tricks your mind a little. And so that's where my confidence stuff came from, was on that end of the spectrum, not so much on my ability to play softball, but more on you telling me what I need to weigh and look like. And we had another girl my senior year who was a freshman who lost 80 pounds in her senior year of high school and came in with a really, really bad like eating disorder type of thing. And we had to really help her through that, because you have to be really careful when it comes to stuff. And I was on the verge of being there. Like my athletic trainer, I had a wonderful woman athletic trainer, and she helped me get through it. And she was like, we have to be careful because you're going fast. And I was like, you don't think when you're in it that you're moving that fast. But that's the only way, like, when you're in it, you don't know.
Especially athletes who are used to doing, hey, all right, this is what I got to do. Once I've committed to it, I'm going to put my head down and do it. And you almost got to, you got to reel them in a little bit, you know, that kind of thing. And that's a real thing. You know, we call it in the health field, you know, it's the athletic triad. You know,
and it's usually like gymnasts, swimmers, cheerleaders type of lately. So a lot of people don't look at softball players and be like, they're part of it. But any female athlete who gets told something about their body, it automatically sticks in their system. And it sucks because, like, I was never a small kid. I was never a small athlete. I was never part of that. I just had to learn how to move my body in a different way. And I picked a position that's really good for that. But at the same time, like, you telling me that I had to do something like that, that's where it got a little chaotic. But that's where my self-doubt always came from, and confidence was never my ability to play my sport. It was always stuff happening on the back end.
Did you have practical, like literally day-to-day or practical things that you would use or do to help you overcome some of those? For example, I know my when I went away for college, or even still to this day, actually since I was probably about 16 years old, I whenever I was going through those emotional moments, I would write spoken word. And actually, not many people know this, but I would write spoken word. It was my way to kind of just put what I wanted to say on paper. Did you have something that helped you?
Yeah, I would. I think a lot of the times is like music really helps me, whether it be one day I could be in a country mood, one day it can be in like a straight hip hop mood, one day I could go listen to some Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? It's you have to just find your rhythm. And then it took me like up until probably like a year and a half ago to find my love for the gym again, because at one point I thought it was just on this spectrum. And then I think like I used to just brain dump a lot. So I would just, a big thing for me was I would write a lot of stuff. Like, have you seen the thing where you write on a plate and then you smash it?
No.
Yeah, so a big thing that I've learned when I needed to get stuff off my mind is, because I will just speak my mind, I don't care. But I have to be careful because obviously, you know.
You gotta filter some.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a big thing around where you take a plate, you just go to Walmart, get some white plates, take a Sharpie, write everything you need on the Sharpie, smash it. Wow. So I would put it in a bag and then I would smash it like that so that you didn't have to pick up the pieces. Wow. And it just helps either put it through, it's stuff either you want to clear your head of or stuff you kind of want to put out into the world. But I would usually do it to clear my head just so I could say it out loud, put it on a piece of paper, put it on something, smash it till I know that I got it out, it's in the universe, we move on.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's one of the, I did it for probably every week for my senior year almost.
Wow.
Just so I knew that I had somewhere. I lived in like a cul-de-sac, so for me it was easy. I could just smash it in the cul-de-sac, walk back inside, throw it away.
Yeah.
But it became easier, and then I could just like write words down. But definitely, like when I play, trust still gets written on my arm in Sharpie, just so I know that to trust my ability to trust myself. And my glove has like words written all up in it too, so that I know that I will never have to self-doubt my ability to be able to play the game that I've been playing for 20 years, because I'd never need to. At this point, it's second nature to me. So why am I going to put those thoughts in my head when my body knows what to do already? You know what I'm saying?
Have you had those? So that's at 29.
Yeah.
Looking back at yourself in high school, would you want that person to have those like skill set, like those practical things then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My freshman year, I played JV. My sophomore year, I was 16, 15 turning 16. And I had to go pitch for varsity softball against some of these kids that were seniors who are going to these big schools, USF, Stetson, big schools. And you go, whoa. Like my first at bat, or my first game I ever pitched, there was a lot of private stuff that got out about me. And like didn't take to it well, because your private life should never get put out on a platter by anyone but you. I knew the girl who said it, and I hit her in the head, first pitch, right in the head. And the next time she came up, she took me yard. Okay, that's fine. But like, I wouldn't condone that to anyone. But at the same time, you're 16 and sometimes you don't know how to control your emotions. But when, like, at that point, you just have to move on. Now we still talk every once in a while. Obviously, we're still friends. But like, you just look at it and you go, I look at it now and I go, why couldn't I just find a different way? Like, strike her out. Instead of hitting her in the head. But, you don't think about that when you're 16. And now
you don't know what you don't know.
No, exactly. And you step back now and like I said, I play with 17-year-olds. So they start getting in fights on the field and they start screaming at each other in Spanish and they start doing all this. And I go, take a step back. Like, my first game down there this year, a girl tagged me out and I ran right through her and her head slammed into my arm and we both fell. It was part of the game. Like, we accidentally ran into each other. She left the game with a concussion, but they're like pulling me back to make sure that I don't get into a fight with her. And I'm like, I'm too old for that. I'm 29. It was an accident. It happened. We move on. Like, that's all you can do.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you sharing that. I'm going to call this segment, See and Describe. So I'm going to pull up a photo or two. And you're going to just tell me, what you think when you see it.
Okay. Like photos of me or photos of anything?
We'll find out.
Okay.
So I'm going to show the camera first and then I'll show you.
Oh, okay.
So you don't know. You didn't actually get to see any of this. So
no. This was the segment I was hoping for.
Yeah?
I was so excited.
So I'm going to start by showing the camera.
Oh. No.
And then I want you to take a moment.
I know what it is. Yeah. So the photo on the left is, what year was this? 2019. 2019. And this was last fall. So I started nursing school. Gosh, when did I start nursing school? I started nursing school, and then I wanted to transfer out of the school I was in because it was a little bit smaller, and I've always wanted to go to UCF. Mom went there. Mom taught there. I've been going since I was a little kid. And I actually got into nursing school at UCF that day.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
But the biggest thing about this picture is I probably weigh more here. I'm not even going to lie to you. But I just found different ways. So I had lost about 30 pounds here. And then I'm almost 20 pounds down from that photo now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's crazy when you look at stuff because you don't ever notice that you're like this until you see a photo.
Yeah. It's a journey of quicksand sometimes,
Absolutely.
right? You're in it. You got to just... Consistency is the main ingredient when it comes to that, and it's like it's also being kind to yourself. Like, you're going to go through moments, and you're where you're not where you want to be, but it's like where you want to be. And it's like, all right, do I have the education? Do I have the consistency, the foundation, the people? So I think that's the biggest thing when I take somebody who not only is able to get to the best shape of their life, but sometimes more importantly, if they do lose it, or get into the shape they don't want to be in, and then get back to it. You're as relatable as you humanly
Absolutely.
can be.
So when this photo I actually have a photo from my first year playing in Puerto Rico, and I was probably bigger than this. And I couldn't believe it when I saw the photo. I was like, there's no way. Well, it's a culture shock. Like, you go from here.
Food is too good.
Food, they drink down there. Like, and that's their second nature, right? Like, it's what they do. Like, I'm in between games and I'm getting offered a beer if I want one. So, like, it's one of those things, as well as I'm on a plane every weekend. So I'm dealing with that. I'm on this. I got injured after my first year. So, like, you have to find it in you to want to succeed. And now I'm at a point in my weight loss journey now where I could keep going, but I can't where I am in my season. I have to wait till I finish playing. Then I can look back and see where I want to be. But I can't constantly keep doing things if I'm losing weight. So I have to learn to be okay with staying where I am, being in a comfortable space while I'm playing, and then we can move from there. But
I love that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. All right, Absolutely. I got one more.
Okay.
Right, so
I hope it's a certain... There's a photo I really want you to show.
I feel like if it's not it, then we just got to go look for the photo. But
okay, I'll show you the photo if it isn't it.
All right.
It is not that photo, but I will show you the photo.
All right, so we're going to see that photo too, but this is this one, and so she's going to see it and then describe what it is. And you look really happy.
We just won the championship with this photo.
Yeah.
So We had won. Okay, so I play in the Superior League softball, professional softball in Puerto Rico. My team was the youngest. We've only been around. This is our third season. It's based on like sponsorships. If you have someone who wants to take on a team, stuff like that. And so the first year I got injured. We couldn't really. I couldn't continue to play. Last year we came back almost with like a vengeance because there was a reason why they couldn't get to the championship the year before. A team forfeited on purpose so that we couldn't make it, because if we would have beaten them at least once, we would have gone to the championship. So they decided not to show up so the other team could automatically go, and they are no longer a team and can never be a team again.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you don't automatically get a dub, like a win.
We didn't automatically get the win. The other team did.
Oh
Because
my
all we
gosh.
had to do was beat. So it was between three of us. It was between two of us. We had to play a certain team. If we would have at least beat them one game, that other team that wasn't playing automatically got to go. If we won one, we got to go.
Got it.
So that team decided not to show up so that they could go.
Got it.
So last year we had to beat the number one seed that won the year before to go. That was the weekend before this. And then this is the weekend that we won the whole thing.
Wow.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Is that the ring I got to see before?
This is the ring you got to see.
There
Yep.
it is. Show it off. Show it off. Show it off. There it is.
Yeah, so we got these on opening day. They're incredible. I'm eternally grateful that I even got one. Let me try to find the picture
Show me.
that I thought you were going to do.
I love that. There was about 4 or 5 that I was like contemplating for sure, but now I'm curious which one.
Hold on. Where the heck is it?
Puerto Rico.
Where the heck?
You can tell she's been there because he talked about sometimes I'm in the mood for Bad Bunny. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So this year they picked my walk-up song.
Yeah.
And they picked, so we got walk-up songs this year. They picked some songs for me. Oh, do I have to go on Facebook to find this? That's such an old thing to say. Do I have to go on Facebook to find this photo? And so they were like, they said it had to be in Spanish. And I was like, well, I don't want to pick a basic photo or a basic song.
So
like,
what did you choose? What did you choose?
They chose, hold on.
They chose.
Yeah, I told my team they can pick and choose.
Okay.
So they chose this song by Bad Bunny.
Tu no metas.
That's what they wanted. I said,
I would have thought it was
listen,
going to be something from his albums.
yeah, so that is what they chose. So this photo was actually taken, I don't think this was the Saturday we played for our championship
Wow.
series. Yeah.
Do you mind if I show the camera?
Nope, you're more than welcome. Yeah, so when you talk about emotion in playing a sport,
Yeah.
when I found out this photo got taken, so this photo got taken the Saturday that we played in the championship series. So championship series run in where I play, like here they were out of 7. We play out of 5. So it can go over 2 weekends.
Okay.
So they still give you the week in between. But if you win the first 3, you win the first 3. I don't think that's happened in a long time. I think us and the team the year before are the first 2 teams to do it in a long time.
Yeah.
But we won in 3. And this was the second game of the day. I had pitched the whole first one, then pitched the whole second one. And I had gotten out of a really tough situation. And I just
You were
let it out.
Let it out. That's full screen.
Yep. So I saw that this picture got taken and I couldn't believe it. But I
awesome.
love that picture and it will always stay with me because there will be nothing better.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That kind of, well, you know what? I'm actually very curious about this next one, which is when you initially started, you talk about how softball isn't necessarily a huge monetarily or culturally driven sport. I would say, if that's fair to put.
Here, yeah. Down there
here.
is all it is. Yeah.
What was your definition of professional success at that time when you were younger, when you're getting into it, and how has it changed now?
I mean, I don't really think there was. Like, when you first get into softball, it's not to ever play professional. And I think everybody needs to realize any sport. Don't play the sport to maybe one day make millions of it. Play the sport because you love it, and then if it turns into a career, it turns into a career. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of athletes these days, and I'm not... I say this very vaguely. I think a lot of people go into certain sports because they think that they can make money off of it later. So like NIL deals now
Yeah.
in college sports weren't a thing when I played.
No, yeah.
They're 2 years old, and
Yeah.
people are like, they shouldn't get paid to be in college. They're already getting their education paid for.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, we can't do anything if you play a sport in college. You can't work.
Yeah.
If you do, I don't know how you do it. And I'm honestly like so amazed by you if you can do anything.
Yeah.
But if you play like at the highest level, I thought NIL deals were amazing. But for me, professional, like we didn't have it.
Yeah.
Then finally we got NPF, which was National Fast Pitch, Professional Fast Pitch.
Mm-hmm.
There was 5 teams. That's all. I don't even know how much they got made. Then Monica Abbott, who's one of like the greatest, she played for Tennessee.
Nice.
Was the first woman to ever make $1 million
Wow.
in a contract over like, I couldn't even tell you how many years. But then you have like, and that team's not even open anymore because I think that helped that team. Like, you could, how are you going to pay anybody else?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you have like the league in Japan that'll pay you bukus because that's all Japan has, softball and baseball. Then you have a league in Australia, good league, Australia. Then I didn't even know Puerto Rico had the league we had. So that's what was available when I was starting to grow up. So then now you have Lauren Chamberlain, one of the best. She was the home run leader queen from Oklahoma up until last year. Jacqueline Allo passed her, restarted it. But it's called WPF, so it's called Women's Fast Pitch, Professional Fast Pitch. So now you have that. But I think the biggest one that happened during COVID was Athletes Unlimited. So Athletes Unlimited came around, and they work on a totally different scale. They are, because National Fast Pitch, Professional Fast Pitch wasn't around during COVID. That's
Yeah.
when they stopped.
Yeah.
When every sport stopped, right? So Athletes Unlimited came around, and they said, this is what we're going to do. We have a draft. We have all these kids. Every week, you have 4 new captains. You get drafted every week, and you could play for a different team. And you go by points, and then the winner of the points. Now, I don't know how payment works for them. I don't know anything, but I know they have a contract with ESPN. It's now them, volleyball, women's basketball, lacrosse.
That sounds so hectic.
I don't even know. I have a lot of friends who play in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I have friends that play in it, and I'm just like, I could never
You don't
imagine.
you don't know.
No,
You
so
don't know
you
your
could
teammates.
no, but you like now. Softball is not a humongous community. Even if it's so popular, it's still not big. Like most of these girls probably have played together, played around each other,
Yeah.
played this and this, but I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So for me, I know that like when we talk about monetary stuff, right? We talk like I know what I have to do to be able to go play down there and what they have to offer me. And it's never changed. My contract's stayed the same for 3 years. I don't ever want to ask for more because they pay for every flight. They pay for every hotel room that I have to stay in. They pay for whatever I need and whatever I ask for if I need something while I'm down there.
And that's not the norm, or that is the norm?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how it works in the United States. I don't know how it works. Like in Japan, they have a long-term stay. For me, they let me fly. Now,
Okay.
other teams in Puerto Rico, they make you stay there. And you
Okay.
have to live in an apartment or a hotel or something there. My team, I'm very lucky to where they give me the freedom to be able to come back and come home
Yeah.
every weekend.
Which is one of the reasons why you've been able to even come to Swish and be able to do
Yeah,
recovery
absolutely.
experiences.
So like there's a fine line because I've had other teams be like, do you want to come play with us? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, I'm like, no, like I will never not play for the team I play for. I will play with them till I retire because I'm like, they gave me everything and they gave me a chance to win a championship. And when I say like, it's like you win one here, we got a parade. We drove through these trucks through our town.
Nice.
We had an after party. We have rings on our fingers.
Yeah.
Like
The
nothing
city-
changes. Our practice jerseys have a patch on the side that says
Yeah.
champions of last year. Everything, it's exactly like you won here, but you're just somewhere else.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
That. We know Puerto Ricans know how to party for sure. So.
Yeah. You can't keep up. Like you can't keep up. No.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I want to kind of transition to a question of, can you share an instance where taking a risk has paid off?
I think playing down there was a risk, and jumping back into it at 27, because like
You had what was your break?
5 years.
5 years. Ooh.
22 to 27.
Wow.
So like practicing with little kids, being a high school coach, coaching in college, because I got to do all these things, will never try to tell your body to get back into it after 5 years. Because I took a good 2-year break of not doing anything.
Yeah.
Your body, after playing a sport for as long as I did, at the level I did.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. Kevin Melendez here, and this episode is brought to you by Swish Physical Therapy and Performance, the #1 physical therapy clinic in Oviedo and Orlando, Florida, where we meet evidence, technology, and experience and bring it together to bring the best results possible. Thank you. Back to the episode.
There's nothing comparing to when you just get to be like, let me just take some time. So took about 2 years off completely of playing softball, and then jumped back into it to help coach, to help. I like coached in college, so that's a whole nother shenanigans scenario. You're just like constantly doing things. And then when I got the opportunity to do it, they were like, I was like, okay, what do I do now? So I had to find a routine, and I had to find a rhythm, and I had to get back into a strength program, and I had to. But I think for me in 2021, I had the opportunity to play for like a women's fast pitch league that they have some around the country, but the WFSA Orlando stands for Women's Fast Pitch Softball Association. And we had like, it's just fast pitch throughout the week, and you do like games every weekend. So that kind of got me back into it in about 2021. And then we had like a semi-pro team that got to go, and we played in other events, won that World Series for WFSA. So I have a ring from that as well, but it's not as pristine as this one. But like that got me kind of back into it. So technically 2021, that's still almost 5 years. Like it was literally the year before I got drafted to come play professional. If I wouldn't have been in that league, I don't think I would have said yes, because I wouldn't have been in the correct body or mind space. Because I was at that point, I was throwing every week. I was hitting every week. I was at least practicing.
Yeah.
But like that league at least helped me be in the mindset and the availability to be able
build
to
the
do this.
habits.
Yeah, exactly.
You had some sort of habits already kind of pre-made.
Yeah, but that would probably be the biggest risk, is being like, can I go play professional against all these girls that are younger? And then we have some girls that, like, I played against a girl in college who plays against the team who won the year before me, and I was like, she's a baddie.
Yeah.
I'm playing against girls who play for the Puerto Rican with the Puerto Rican national team that are going to play for a World Cup and to get in the Olympics, and like, what?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, it's funny, but though, what I hope the audience can take from it is you have yet to talk about, or you have emphasized the importance of the competition within yourself.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's been very much with my own mind and body, with my own habits, with it hasn't been, it's holding yourself accountable and understanding the power that comes with, wait, if you want success, as if you're willing to put yourself through that and whatever that looks like, you're not really saying, well, this didn't happen for me, or like, you're not blaming something else.
I mean, the only person you can blame if you don't have success is you. Like, if you don't give 120,000% every time you do something, the only person you can blame is yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go out to games and say, if I didn't give it my all, then obviously I'm going to blame myself. But if I gave it my all, like on Saturday or on Sunday, we had 4 games this weekend. On Sunday, we lost 4-3 in the top of the last inning. But I gave it my all I possibly could.
Yeah.
So what am I going to say? I didn't give it my all. I pitched the day before as well.
Yeah.
Like, all I know is if I can give it my all, I know that I did everything I possibly could to be able to do what I can.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been my whole softball journey is, if I didn't do the summer workouts, I wouldn't be the best when I came back. If I didn't practice running an 8-minute mile, was I going to do it? If I didn't do all the lunges, even though there were 250 on my workout plan, if I missed one, I knew I would be diminishing myself. So I think for me, and I ended up running my mile in 7:42.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't push yourself to a level outside of playing a game or of anything, you're not going to play that way in a game.
Yeah.
You have to push yourself harder outside of playing your game, so that when you get to the game, it's like you're walking on water.
Is that the differentiator between those who are able to play professional and those who don't, or the ones that understand that what you're being asked to do isn't enough? Like, you have to be able to, love the game enough and be curious enough about the game to go, I'm going to run a little bit more, or I'm going to research on recovery. I'm going to do this assessment. I'm going to eat this, to do more than what's being asked. Is that kind of the
easiest part of any sport should be the game?
Okay.
Honestly, like, if it's harder to play the game than it is to practice, you're not practicing hard enough. And that's like, a mental thing. You have to push yourself harder in the off season, in practice, in anything you do outside, so that when you get to the game, it's the fun part. The game should be your fun part, literally.
Now, I do want to, because I think the audience, because I know when I was 16 or 17, if I were listening to those exact words, what I was really good at is going, okay, let me go run 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
But as I've gone older and now that I'm a part of the healthcare field, I understand going 1,000% doesn't always mean smashing your head into the wall. It's understanding, going as hard as I can means I need to take recovery serious. I need to maybe I should watch a little bit more film.
Yeah.
Right. It isn't all just physical.
Nope.
It is a lot of it is the mental and the ability to overcome the mental side is really a huge part. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So I honestly think that like if you have a practice from 5:30 to 8, and that's with just your team, push yourself that hard from 5:30 to 8. Take your recovery seriously when you get home. AKA, if I work with kids and I ask them if their arm is sore, did you ice it? No. Okay. Did you take it seriously? Because you can't blame anyone but you if you didn't ice your body after your game if you need to, because you have to. There's not my shoulder wouldn't be where I am if I didn't put in that work either. But like when I say go hard, it means when you're at that practice from 5:30 to 8, go hard. Get home, eat something good to fuel your body. Part of it. Watch film, like AKA what I have to do with the team I play next weekend.
Yeah. Do that.
Watch the film. Yeah. Eat what you need to fuel your body.
Be good at that. Yeah.
Recovery, what you do. Find someone. Do some recovery. Ice roll. Roll with something on the ground.
Yeah.
Do something. If you have a knot, figure out how to like roll it out. Don't just keep going through the motions, because that's not going to give you the good habits that you need to continue.
Absolutely. I love that. I want to ask you, okay, so can you share a book, podcast, or resource that has, or quote, that has profoundly impacted your perspective?
So there's 2.
Okay.
So my quote is actually tattooed on me. I got it tattooed right before my senior year season. And it says college.
Okay.
It says never trust your fears. They don't know your strengths. I came up with it. I was just sitting there and I was like,
can we say that again?
Never trust your fears. They don't know your strengths.
Okay.
Love it. It's right on my thigh.
I love that.
Because at that time, like, we were practicing a lot in shorts. It was part of our thing, and I always wanted to be able to see it. And it's right by where I, like, if I'm ever doing a drill or anything in softball, it's right where I snap my ball. So I always know that it's there. And then my book would be Grit, and I think it's by Angela Ducksworth.
Okay.
Is that who it is? So I took a psychology class and a coaching class in college. My minor's in coaching. And we had to do a book report. It's the weirdest thing to say. Had to do, like, a report on some sort of book.
Yeah.
And it would be that.
Grit.
It was such a good book.
If you could give, what was your, like, in a one line, what's your takeaway?
That if you don't have grit, you will never get through anything. Because it's not just about sport. And I think that's what that book really taught, was you have to have the grit to fight for anything you want in life. Because if you don't have that grit, it's like you're either wanting it handed to you or you're expecting someone else to do it for you. You have to have the grit to fight for it if you truly want it, because you don't really truly want it if you don't want to fight for it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's like my biggest thing about it. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was such a good book. I would recommend it to any athlete. Absolutely.
I love that. Only a few more questions here. I really appreciate the time.
Having a blast.
I would say looking forward, our podcast is called Forward Progress.
Okay.
So looking forward, what are your next goals or areas that you want to focus on for continued progress?
Probably retiring soon, honestly, which is hard. Like, as an athlete, you go, when do I take a step? AKA why Tom Brady retired and came back. Yeah. I told myself if I won last year, I was going to be done. So technically, I was Tom Brady. Now, I didn't announce it to the world and then take it back. But family knew. I kept telling myself, if I won last year, I would be done. End on a high note. In case this year doesn't end that way, I probably will still be done. And that's like me coming out and saying it to the world. Because, like, I am married. My wife is in the military. We want to, like, start moving forward. But, like, the travel is a lot. But I think for me, is listening to my body is the biggest factor in that. And knowing that I don't think I can do it much longer at the level that they need me to be. At the
discipline that you talk about, that you feel comfortable.
Because I'm not going to do it if I'm only doing it down here. So I'm definitely, like, living my moments this year, spending a little bit more time down there with them, and just knowing that it's probably going to be my last year. And you get emotional. Like, I get emotional talking about it because I did write my retirement speech going into this year, knowing that, and I sent it to them. And I was like, this is how I'm thinking. And they're like, is there anything we can do to get you to play your last year here so that we can give you a celebration for when you leave? So I think for me, it's knowing I need to be okay, that I'm okay leaving the sport where I am, because I've done it once. When I left in college, I thought that was it. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing it a second time.
Like, to do it a second time.
Yeah.
And the first time we had, like, our coaches wrote us these letters, and I will always remember it. We had a bench right outside of our field, and we had a big, like, after party for our senior day above the football field and the big thing. And I went down there and I read these letters and I just cried. And I found them probably when I was moving. And, like, to go back and read them and you still see, like, the stains from me crying on them. And I think, like, I'm going to have to write a letter to myself and to softball and, like, put it somewhere so that I can go back in a month and a half, because I'm almost done. Like, even though I just started our season 10 weeks, I'm not going down for 2 of them. So, like, knowing that I have at least 4 more weeks and then I'm done. You go, how is it already over? And I feel like I was training for it since January hard.
I can feel the emotion even in you talking about it right now.
When you love something, like, no wonder athletes get mad when you assume for them. Like, no wonder Jason Kelsey got mad when people were assuming. Let him make his own decision. And that's me. Like, people are, like, asking me. And if my teammates ask, like, they all know. They know. I've told them. Slowly but surely, I've told them, hey, this is my last year. Like, if we don't win, I'll be sad, but at the same time, like, I still have to be okay because I still have a life I have to live.
Absolutely.
But I need to be able to lift my arm when I'm 40. I need to be able to move my body at that point. So will me playing softball stop at this level? Yes. But I think
your love for it won't.
No, never. And I think, like, helping kids, coaching high school, coaching college is in the cards for me. I really want to, but I think that's where my passion has to go next, is moving forward and teaching the next generation. Not so much being selfish and putting my body through it, because my body doesn't like it.
So looking forward to how to make that ending as beautiful as possible.
Absolutely.
And how to make sure you can start the next chapter of your life as vibrant as you can.
Now, I think winning a championship again will also help, but we just have to see.
We got this. All right, I have a couple quick hitters, so I'm just going to say it, and then you tell me, like, literally, like, just randomly.
Like, first thing that comes to my mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Authentic Autumn.
Authentic Autumn? Like, what? What does that mean?
Your YouTube channel that you've stopped and started, but I...
Oh, yeah.
I'm deep diving.
Whoa. Yeah.
Just what first thing, like, comes to mind when you think about it?
So I started that when I actually started it right when I was going to start my weight loss journey. And then I was like, I don't know if people are going to care about me losing weight. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what makes, like, some of the people who do YouTube and social media full time, is that's what makes them different, you know, is they're not scared. Well, I was scared because I was almost 250 pounds. And
everyone is scared.
I was like, so I made it, and then I, like, did a couple videos, stopped, deleted them. They're, like, not even on there anymore. And then, like, I think I did a video of, like, 29 things I've learned since I turned 29, or something I wanted to do before I turned 30. I'm actually doing well on that list, I think.
Heck yeah.
But wow. Okay.
The last thing, you like that one, right?
That was funny. I wasn't expecting it.
So when I went through, it's probably the first time me sharing this, but I had a moment where I had gone through a little bit of a mental health, anxiety-driven type of time in my life, and I went to therapy for it. And therapist at the time, because I was very work driven. You know, it hasn't really changed, but at least, you know, I'm very, like, go. And one of the things that she advised me to do is find things that can take your mind off.
Yeah.
And one of those was finding different ways to make coffee.
Oh, my favorite. I love a cup of coffee.
Which leads to what I'm saying is I've learned, you know, French presses, pour overs, you know, like espresso. Like I've gone and dived. And it's not a lot, right? It takes, you know, 5-10 minutes, but that ability to just be obsessed. Grams of coffee,
water temperature.
Oh, I'm shaking, you know, I'm grinding beans.
And then you're doing the little thing, you're tamping it.
I'm like, what's wrong with me? But I say that to say, you know, what's your love for coffee? How's that?
I love coffee. So I have a dad who loves coffee just like that. And I've been drinking it since I was little. Like, when I say little, probably 3. But it was like little bit of coffee,
Yeah,
a lot of milk. So I have many orders.
What's your go-to? Yeah, that's really the big one. What's your go-to order?
So if I just happen to run through a Starbucks, it's always going to be a nitro cold brew.
Okay.
Simple as you can get. If I go to like a specialty coffee shop, I always get like a cortado because I always want to try their espresso. But a go-to is like a vanilla latte with oat milk, honestly. Easiest thing I love. I love a vanilla latte because everyone's vanilla is different, especially if it's a local coffee shop.
Yeah.
Because if they make their syrup in-house, if they do it. But that's my basic one that everyone can make the same. Because sometimes you go to a coffee shop and they don't know what a cortado is.
No.
I go, excuse me? So for me, it's easy. Vanilla latte. Some people don't have oat milk, so usually I'll try to do non-fat to keep it as. And I always keep a tally. Like I live in Texas now, so going through all those coffee shops, I know exactly if I want an amazing vanilla latte, I know where to go. Now there's a Dutch Bros opening here next week, this Friday.
Is there really?
You what do you mean? Park?
No, get out of here.
I swear.
Find me there.
So Dutch Bros is a little bit different. If you don't like sweet coffee, you're not gonna like it.
I'm like black.
Oh,
coffee.
They don't even have that. You have to get an Americano there.
Okay.
But it's delicious.
If it's a good vibe, I'll be there regardless.
It's fun. It's so fun. It's such a fun vibe.
All right. So the last thing, and this is more of a request of a way to move this podcast forward.
Okay.
And I asked if you were able to help me get one person on this podcast who also has a growth mindset, who would it be?
Probably my wife.
Ooh.
Because she decided to join the military at 32.
Wow.
And completely she went to college for graphic design.
Okay.
Her college shut her program down. She's continued to keep going for something. And then she went back to school, PTA school. Did PTA, worked at a bunch of chiropractic, a main chiropractic office for a long time. Even has her personal training certification. Went through a big weight loss journey, played professional football. Went through that and then was like, I want to join the military. I want to get back. I want to change my life. I want to move forward in a different way. And now she's in radiology school. And that's what she's doing in the military. And I think that, I'm so proud of her. And you look back and you go, did I know that was going to happen when we got together? No, absolutely not. Did I know she was going to want to join the military at 30? No.
Yeah.
Am I going to be there for her through it? Yeah, because that's one of her dreams and that she's crushing it right now. But I definitely think that avenue for her, all she has is growth, right? I think that's one thing that I think why a lot of people join the military in the first place too is because, one, it gives them something to believe in themselves. And even though people are whatever your opinion is on the military, one, you have so much growth that can happen in that thing, regardless of where you start. She went in as a specialist because she has a degree, so she's an E4. So, she can even grow as much as she wants in that time. She can even decide she wants to go back to medical school and be an actual radiologist if she wants. So I think, the amount I've seen her grow in the 6 months, 9 months she's been in the military now is insane. Yeah. And I think that's why I say that.
I would love the opportunity to be able to.
You may have to call her in because she can't go anywhere right now, but
that's fair.
A 50-mile radius is where she's at.
Fair enough. No, but again, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I had so much fun. This was fun.
Thank you.